I came home to find my front door open. I hadn't left it that way. My heart hammered as I stepped inside. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. The afternoon light filtered through the blinds, casting long shadows across the hardwood floor. Everything looked normal at first. Jacket on the hook, keys on the counter where I always left them, TV remote exactly where it belonged. Then I walked into the bathroom. Written on my mirror in red lipstick were 5 words: "You should have picked me." My blood went cold. I backed out of the bathroom, hands shaking, fumbling for my phone. Dialed 911 before I could even think about what I was doing. Someone broke into my apartment. They left a message. The dispatcher told me to wait outside. Don't touch anything. Officers were on their way. I stood in the hallway for 12 minutes, staring at my open front door, trying to figure out who wanted to destroy me. I'd been living a normal life until that afternoon. 32 years old, financial analyst at a mid-size investment firm. I had a decent apartment in a safe neighborhood, a gym membership I actually used, and a Honda Accord with 47,000 miles on it. Nothing special. Nothing that should attract the attention of someone willing to break into my home and leave cryptic messages in lipstick. My dating history was equally unremarkable. A few relationships over the years, none that ended badly enough to warrant stalking. A few first dates that went nowhere. The usual collection of almost connections that never quite connected. I wasn't the kind of person who inspired obsession, or so I thought. The police arrived within 15 minutes. Officer Patricia Chen, 6 years on the force, took my statement while her partner searched the apartment. "Nothing missing," he called from the bedroom. "No forced entry that I can see." "The door was locked when you left this morning?" Officer Chen asked. "Always. I checked it twice." "Any ex-girlfriends who might be upset? Someone you ended things with recently?" I thought about it. Really thought. No one who would do this. My last relationship ended 8 months ago. Mutual decision. We're still friendly. What about further back? Anyone who took a breakup badly? Nothing comes to mind. She looked at the bathroom mirror, at those 5 words in red. "You should have picked me." That suggests someone feels rejected. Someone who wanted a relationship you didn't pursue. I don't know who that would be. She handed me her card. "Call me if you think of anyone, and get your locks changed. Someone has a key or knows how to get in." I changed every lock that night. New deadbolt, new door handle, security chain for good measure. The locksmith, a gruff man named Frank, who'd been in the business for 30 years, didn't ask questions, just did the work, and charged me $287. I slept with a baseball bat next to my bed. For a week, nothing happened. I started to convince myself it was a one-time thing, a prank, maybe, some random act of weirdness that had nothing to do with me personally. Then, the photos started. The first one appeared in my mailbox, a photo of me walking into work, taken from across the street, zoomed in, slightly grainy. On the back, handwritten, "You look tired." I called Officer Chen immediately. "It's escalating," she said. "I'll add this to the file, but without more evidence, there's not much we can do. Keep documenting everything." The second photo came 2 days later, slipped under my apartment door while I was at work. Me at the gym, visible through the window, lifting weights. On the back, "Nice shirt today," except I wasn't wearing a shirt in the photo. I was in a tank top. She'd written about a shirt I'd worn somewhere else. She was watching me in multiple locations. The third photo appeared on my windshield. Me at the grocery store, pushing a cart, looking at my phone. On the back, "She doesn't deserve you." That one stopped my heart. I'd just started seeing someone. Her name was Amy. 3 dates in 2 weeks. She was a physical therapist, dark hair, easy laugh, the kind of person who made you feel like everything was going to be okay, even when you weren't sure it would. We'd gone to dinner twice, walked through the park once, held hands. Nothing serious yet, but enough that I was starting to hope. How did the stalker know? I hadn't posted anything on social media, hadn't mentioned Amy to anyone except my brother. We'd been careful about being seen in public, not intentionally, just coincidence. But someone knew. Someone was watching everything. I told Amy everything that night. We were supposed to go to a movie. Instead, I drove to her apartment and showed her the photos, the lipstick message, the police report. "This is what's happening," I said. "If you want to run, I understand." She looked at the photos for a long time, studied the handwriting on the back. "Someone's been stalking you for weeks, and you're giving me an out. I'd rather you be safe than we'll figure this out together." She didn't run. That was the moment I knew she was different. The next day, Amy's car was vandalized. "Stay away" carved into the hood with a key, deep scratches that went all the way to the metal. She called me at 7:15 a.m., voice shaking. "She knows where I live. She knows my car. Come to my place. Don't go home until we figure this out." This wasn't random. Someone was hunting me, and now they were hunting anyone who got close. I made a list. Every woman woman I dated in the past 5 years. Every connection that might have turned into obsession. 6 names, 3 were married now. I'd been to 2 of their weddings. No lingering resentment, just the normal awkwardness of former almost relationships that had faded into friendship. One lived overseas. She'd moved to London for work 2 years ago. We hadn't spoken in 18 months. One barely remembered me. We'd matched on a dating app, met for coffee once, never followed up. When I tracked down her social media, she was engaged to someone else, clearly happy, clearly not thinking about the guy she'd had one mediocre latte with in 2021. The 6th name was Paige. Paige was dead. I'd dated Paige for about 3 weeks, 3 years ago. 2 real dates, a handful of texts. We'd met at a mutual friend's birthday party, exchanged numbers, tried to make something happen. The chemistry wasn't there. She was nice, attractive, smart, but something was off. She'd get quiet at strange moments, stare at me with an intensity that made me uncomfortable. I ended it politely after the 2nd date, said I wasn't ready for a relationship, which was half true. She took it well, or seemed to. 6 months later, she died in a car accident. I found out through the mutual friend, sent flowers to the funeral, which I didn't attend because we'd barely known each other. Felt sad for a few days, then moved on. I'd almost forgotten about her until I started making that list. Paige had a roommate. I remembered this because the mutual friend had mentioned it at the funeral. Her roommate was in the car too. She survived, but barely. A roommate named Dina. I searched for Paige's obituary online, found the details of the accident. Then I searched for Dina. Her social media was locked down, private accounts, minimal public information, but her profile picture was visible. My stomach dropped. The photo showed a woman standing on a sidewalk. Behind her, visible through the frame, was a building I recognized. My building. She'd taken her profile picture outside my apartment. I called Detective Sarah Okonkwo, who'd been assigned to my case after Officer Chen escalated it. "I think I know who's stalking me," I said. "Her name is Dina Richardson. She was the roommate of a woman I briefly dated 3 years ago. That woman died in a car accident, and Dina survived. You think she blames you for the accident? I don't know what she thinks, but her profile picture was taken outside my building." Detective Okonkwo was quiet for a moment. "That's circumstantial. I'll look into her, but we need more than a photo location to get a warrant. How long will the investigation take? Could be weeks. These things move slowly." I didn't have weeks. I started watching back. Dina worked at a marketing firm downtown. I found this through LinkedIn, one of the few social media platforms she hadn't completely locked down. I drove past the building at 5 p.m. and waited. She left at 5:17 p.m. Same route every day, down Market Street, across the plaza, into the parking garage on 3rd. I followed her for 3 days, documented everything, noted the times she drove past my apartment, twice in those 3 days, both times slowing down, both times looking up at my window, noted the moments she lingered outside Amy's house, once at 6:30 a.m., once at 9:45 p.m. She was methodical, patient, completely consumed by whatever delusion was driving her. I found her car on the 4th day, parked 3 blocks from my apartment, in a spot with a clear view of my building's entrance. Through the window I could see what was inside: a camera with a telephoto lens, a notebook, red lipstick, the same shade as my mirror. I photographed everything through the glass, didn't touch a thing, sent the photos to Detective Okonkwo immediately. "This is good," she said. "We can use this to build a case, but I need to be honest with you. Even with this evidence, prosecution will take time. She could keep doing this for months before we can stop her legally. What am I supposed to do in the meantime? Wait for her to escalate? Document everything. Don't engage directly. Let us handle it." But the police were moving too slowly, and I could feel Dina getting closer. I needed more than evidence. I needed her to destroy herself. The plan came together over 3 days. Amy and I talked through every detail, every risk, every possible outcome. She understood what we were doing. She agreed to help. First, I upgraded my apartment security. New cameras, hidden ones, positioned to cover every room, motion sensors linked to my phone, a recording system that would capture everything in high definition. Then, I set the trap. Amy posted on Instagram that we were going away for the weekend. A cabin upstate, tagged location, photos of mountain scenery from a stock image site that looked convincing enough. "So excited for this getaway. Finally some peace and quiet with this one." She tagged me. I reposted it to my own account, which I'd made public for the first time in years. We didn't go anywhere. We waited. Friday night, 11:47 p.m. My phone lit up. Movement at the front door. I was at Amy's apartment watching the live feed on my laptop. She sat next to me, both of us barely breathing. The camera showed a figure at my door. Dark clothes, hood up, something metallic in her hand, a lockpick set. She worked the lock for about 90 seconds. Then the door swung open. Dina walked into my apartment like she owned the place. She moved through the living room without hesitation, knew exactly where she was going, the bedroom. The camera there showed everything. She stood over my empty bed for 3 full minutes, just staring, not moving, her face hidden by the hood, but I could see her shoulders shaking. Then she pulled out a knife. Amy grabbed my arm. Dina started stabbing my pillow, over and over, tears streaming down her face, visible now that she'd pushed back her hood. "You should have picked her," she whispered between sobs. "You killed her. You killed her." I was already dialing 911. "I have a home intruder, armed with a knife. I have video footage. Please send officers immediately." The police arrived in 6 minutes. I watched the live feed as Dina heard the sirens, watched her try to run, watched her get stopped in the hallway by 2 officers with weapons drawn. They found the knife, the notebook, the lipstick, everything. The trial was 4 months later. The charges were extensive: breaking and entering, possession of a weapon with intent, criminal stalking, vandalism, harassment, attempted destruction of property. Her lawyer, a public defender named Michael Torres, tried for a psychiatric defense. Dina had suffered trauma in the car accident, he argued. She'd become fixated on blaming me for Paige's death because she couldn't cope with survivor's guilt. "She needs treatment, not prison," Torres said. "She's a victim of circumstance, not a criminal." The prosecutor, ADA Jennifer Walsh, wasn't buying it. This was not a crime of passion. This was a sustained, methodical campaign of terror, spanning multiple weeks. Ms. Richardson photographed the victim repeatedly. She vandalized his girlfriend's car. She broke into his home with a weapon. The only reason no one was hurt is because Mr. Carter wasn't there when she arrived. The video played in court. Dina stabbing my pillow, whispering that I'd killed Paige, the knife rising and falling again and again. Her own family couldn't look at her. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Judge Patricia Hernandez delivered the sentence 2 weeks later. "Ms. Richardson, you conducted a systematic campaign of harassment against a man who had done nothing wrong except end a brief relationship with your roommate 3 years ago. You photographed him without consent. You violated his home. You brought a weapon with clear intent to cause harm." She paused. "The court finds no merit in the psychiatric defense. Your actions were deliberate, planned, and sustained over an extended period. You knew what you were doing. You simply didn't care about the consequences. 8 years in state prison. No parole eligibility for 5. After sentencing, I walked out of the courthouse into the afternoon sun. Dinah's mother stopped me on the steps. She was small, gray-haired. She looked like she hadn't slept in months. She was broken after the accident, she said. Her voice was barely audible. She needed help, not prison. I looked at her. She broke into my home. She stalked my girlfriend. She was going to hurt someone. She wasn't always like this. Your daughter needed help years ago. You didn't get it for her. That's not my fault. She didn't respond. I walked away. Amy was waiting by the car. "It's done?" she asked. "It's done." She took my hand. We drove home in silence. That night, I took down the cameras, threw out the ruined pillow, scrubbed the mirror clean for the last time. Even though the lipstick had been removed months ago, I could still see the ghost of those words. "You should have picked me." Amy stayed over. First time since this all started. We'd been careful during the trial, not wanting to give the defense anything to use. But now it was over. Around midnight, she rolled over and looked at me in the dark. "You know what scared me most?" "What?" "That you'd let her win. That you'd push me away to protect me." I pulled her closer. She wanted me alone. That was her whole plan. Isolate me. Make me too scared to connect with anyone. Amy smiled in the darkness. How'd that work out for her? I kissed her forehead. She's spending the next 8 years finding out. It's been 2 years since the trial. Amy and I are still together. We moved to a new apartment 6 months after the verdict. Not because we had to, but because we wanted a fresh start. New space, new memories. I still check my locks twice before bed. Still feel a spike of anxiety when I find unexpected mail. Still look over my shoulder more than I should. Some things don't heal completely. But I'm not living in fear anymore. Dina writes me letters from prison. One every few months. Same handwriting as the notes on the back of those photos. I've never opened a single one. I already know what she wants. She wants me to understand, to forgive, to admit that somehow, in some twisted way, this was all my fault. She's going to be waiting a long time. Amy asked me once if I ever felt guilty. About Paige? About any of it. I thought about it. I went on 2 dates with a woman 3 years ago. We didn't click. I ended it politely. That's the extent of my involvement in her life. I know. Her roommate decided I was responsible for everything that happened after, decided I needed to be punished, decided to destroy my life over something I had no control over. I looked at Amy. I don't feel guilty for protecting myself. I don't feel guilty for setting a trap. I don't feel guilty that she's in prison. And Paige? I feel sad that she died. But I didn't cause the accident. I didn't put Dina in that car. I didn't break anyone's mind. Amy nodded slowly. I just needed to hear you say it. Why? Because I wanted to make sure you knew that none of this was your fault. Some people asked me if I thought the sentence was too harsh. 8 years for stalking and breaking and entering. 5 before parole. I don't think it was harsh enough. She photographed me for weeks. She destroyed Amy's car. She broke into my home with a knife and stabbed my pillow while whispering that I'd killed her roommate. If I'd been in that bed when she arrived, she would have stabbed me. I'm certain of it. The knife wounds in my pillow were deep. Frenzied. The kind of violence that doesn't stop at soft targets. She was going to kill me. She just didn't get the chance. I came home one day to find my front door open. I hadn't left it that way. 5 words in red lipstick on my bathroom mirror. You should have picked me. She wanted me isolated, terrified, alone. Instead, I documented everything, set a trap, caught her in the act. And now she's spending 8 years in a cell, thinking about what she could have done differently. Amy's moving in next month. We're talking about getting a dog. Life goes on. Dina wanted me to pick her. Pick the fear. Pick the isolation. Pick the prison she was building around me. I picked something else. I picked the woman who stayed when she could have run. I picked the life I wanted instead of the one Dina tried to force on me. I picked to fight back. She's spending 8 years finding out how that decision worked out for her.